Footballtribeug channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football updates channel. It's a pleasure to be back this beautiful Friday evening to discuss the latest from the world of football. And we are following up on updates from the Premier League, where Liverpool have squandered a 2-0 lead against FC Bournemouth. So very interesting action there that we are going to be enjoying. So we're going to be speaking about that game. Hello, Pedri. Good to have you on the broadcast. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a wonderful Friday. Yes, Gakpo squad. Okay, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Although I feel like if Liverpool can't nick a winner here, it's going to be really a bad day for fun in the world of fantasy football. Really, it may not be a very beautiful day. Oh, Liverpool have the third goal, and you have him in FPL. Okay, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. But anyways, Bournemouth will only have themselves to blame for this one because I mean you bounce back and then squander it again. They'll only have themselves to blame, really. But yeah, anyways, allow me have our audios tested and make sure everything checks out before we proceed any further. Before we proceed any further, but I think we are good to go on that front. I think we're good to go on that front. Anyways, what have you guys made of that game between Liverpool and AFC Bournemouth? What have you made of it? You know, my prediction had been for Liverpool to win by 3-1, but looks like they're going to win it 3-2, and in true Liverpool fashion of sometimes winning games late. You know, of sometimes winning games late. But it looks like we're about to wrap it up out there before we get it. Jesus Christ. The man that we've been speaking about almost all summer, that he could leave the club, turns out to be the scorer for, you know, what may arguably be the winning goal. And that's Federico Chiesa, you know. So really, I'm trying to read your comments, guys. Rios, hi Rios, what's your from? I'm from Kampala, Uganda. Thanks for asking. Rohan, Rios, hi, how are you? How has been your day? Good to have you on the broadcast. I hope you've had a wonderful day. For those of you that are just joining us, kindly like the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel and help us grow to 2,000 subscribers. I think I need to increase my screen brightness so that I do not struggle reading your comments. Good day. Rohan says good day. Okay, that's interesting. But I mean, Federico Chiesa, what a goal, what a moment to pick, to choose to score. I mean, like I said, we've been speaking about him almost all summer, suggesting or heeding to reports that he is destined to move out from Anfield, until very recently when it was revealed that apparently Arne Slot and Liverpool had told him that following the departure of Luis Diaz, he could be a significant member of this Liverpool squad. And he comes, there you have him scoring a brilliant goal that could actually win all 3 points for Liverpool on the opening night of the new Premier League season. And I do not think he could have asked for any better day to do that. I see Rohan is asking for my name. My name is Robert Kesakos, and I'm coming to you live from Kampala in Uganda. But thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. Beautiful game of football. We couldn't have asked for any much better than this. It doesn't get any better than that. Timan Taos, are you watching the match? Yes, I'm watching the match. Although my feed is almost a minute behind due to low bandwidth, so it's something that I have to live with. So But yeah, very, very interesting game. Very, very interesting game. I know, I know. You know, let me actually uh, update our headline. Chiesa to the rescue, because I mean, anyway, football is like that. It's never over until it's over. It's never over until it's over. It's never done until it's over. So, but in spectacular fashion, Liverpool did squander that 2-0 lead. They did squander it, and if anything, game could have easily gone either way, and it could still end with points shared because Bournemouth have put on quite, especially the shift in the second half. So they've not looked. Bournemouth have been the better team going forward, I think. Let me see. Let me read your comments. Are you watching Liverpool defense is worrying? Yes, Timan Taos. Yeah, especially on that second goal when you watch Antoine Semenyo take on both centre backs in Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate, with each one of them trying to direct the other on what to do and where to move. And then Antoine Semenyo, to his advantage, he had two attacking, Bournemouth players that sort of helped him drag the attention away from him while he still had the ball, and then he buried that ball in the back of the net to restore parity, to make it 2-2. Kasim Khan says Dashan Parameshwa Dashan. I don't know what that means, Kasim, but kindly indulge me. Tell me, what does that mean? What does that mean? But yeah, beautiful game of football. I never gets any better than that, to open up, a Premier League night on a Friday night like this. So for those of you that are just joining us, just a kind request that you like the broadcast. But if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel and help me to 2,000 subscribers at the moment. Meanwhile, guys, I do not know, but I seem to be living on a very thin line. My streaming phone has developed issues. You know what Samsung phones tend to do? Developing those, straight lines. That's what I'm suffering with at the moment. And let's hope for the best. Let's hope that it can hang in there until we get another device. Otherwise, it will be a tough one to take. It will be a bitter pill to take. So, but yeah, beautiful game of football. Beautiful game of football. Oh, Liverpool now at the fourth. So it's as good as that. It's as good as done, really. Anyways, I think my prediction was for Liverpool to win, and I think they've shown that. But defensively, they need to stand better. They'll need to be better as the season goes. I mean, I cannot take too much offense to them because it's the first game of the season. By its own assessment, it feels like an extension of a preseason. Players are yet to feel to be fine-tuned. They are yet to gain that momentum that you always have in the season. They have to grow into the season, and whichever way they win will be a win. Whether they grind it out, it matters less. So for players that appear rusty, for players that appear, to be a bit sluggish in a way, maybe not up to beat in terms of fitness, I mean, I can't really blame them. I can't really blame them. But it wouldn't have been a Liverpool victory without a Mo Salah goal. It wouldn't have been a Liverpool victory without a Mo Salah goal. And what a way to take it on his weaker foot. Judge Petrovic and his defenders will only have themselves to blame for letting that one go in. In any case, even Liverpool's second goal, the one that was scored by Cody Gakpo, practically you had the Bournemouth players ball watching in that backline. They literally ball watched until Cody Gakpo managed to slot that ball into the bottom corner. And basically, of course, Mo Salah being Mo Salah, he's come to the good. He's come to the good. He's come to the good. He's come to the good, and that's how Liverpool have a 4-2 lead, or that's how they've managed to clinch the victory. So congratulations to all Liverpool fans, spirit of LFC fans, LFC M4X. Christian Kosi from South Africa, Hamlin, who else? And all Liverpool fans out there, congratulations on the opening victory. It's never easy to grind out a victory on the opening day of the season. Like I said, it's the kind of game that comes with a bit of vastness. Yes, you've had the preparation, you've had preseason, you play games and get yourself ready to get yourself a bit of momentum. But I mean, nothing really prepares you well enough to the seriousness of an opening day game, especially on a Friday night under the floodlights. So congratulations, Team Liverpool. I thought Hugo Tike really looked sharp in that first half, especially, and he did open the scoring for Liverpool in the 37th minute. Of course, he had that ball, sort of deflected by a defender to continue into his path before he sort of, sent the goalkeeper in the opposite direction. It almost felt like a penalty kick in that moment as he scored to give them a 1-0 lead. Alexis Makalisa providing the assist, and then in the second half, like I said, basically that Bournemouth defense ball watched. Bafode Diakite and I think was it Senesi in that back line, literally ball watched, yes, and Marcos Senesi, Adrian Trafford, and Adam Smith, they literally ball watched as Cody Gakpo danced around them and slotted that ball into the bottom corner. And then, of course, Liverpool capitulated on the other side in just a matter of minutes, as they conceded 2 goals from Antoine Semenyo, who scored in the 64th minute and the 76th minute to restore parity at the time, with David Brooks providing the assist, I think, for the first goal. But like, again, in pure champions fashion, you pull something out of your sleeves, and guess what? Anna Slot looked to the bench. He made numerous substitutions, including Harvey Elliott coming on, including Andy Robertson coming on, including Federico Chiesa coming on, and they all worked out. It worked out perfectly because it's Federico Chiesa's 88th minute goal that has literally guaranteed Liverpool, the 3 points and the victory. For Mo Salah, it was just an icing on the cake in spectacular fashion to make sure that nothing is left to chance. Keon Green at 2.0 says 119201. I think it means September 11th, 2001. Those numbers are synonymous with the tragedy that befell the United States of America when the Twin Towers was literally bombed. So I think that's what you mean. So very beautiful game of football. Key takeaways for me is particularly the sharpness of Hugo Ekitike. He's really looked decent. His ball movement, his movement off the ball, the kinds of spaces that he runs into to try and attract that pass. He wants his pass played to him quick enough to make his move. And I thought overall in the first half, he really applied himself. There's an opportunity that he missed. I think it was a header. I think you can't really, you can only blame it on his height, because I think he misjudged the flight or the height of the ball and then the height of the goal. And sometimes it happens for those very tiring, players. You saw it in years gone by with Peter Crouch sometimes. So he needed to have been at maybe to, how do you incline yourself a bit backwards and then try to head it downwards. That's what maybe he could have done better. But like I said, I won't blame him that much. But yeah, he did look sharp. Florian Wirtz, I didn't think he was overwhelming. I thought he did okay. Alexis Makalisa and Dominic Szoboszlai starting in that double pivot. Again, they didn't look bad, but again, they didn't look the very best. But again, I think, to the best of my recollection, it was the first time them playing 2 without a natural number 6. And this is something we spoke about, that while you could rely on Ryan Graven, right? What if he's injured? While you can have Alexis Makalisa or Dominic Szoboszlai play for you in that role, for how long can they play there and give you what Ryan Gravenberch gives you, or what Wataru Endo would give you if it were him playing that role? and that's why it's been my school of thought that Liverpool need a holding midfielder or a central midfielder to add to their ranks, really. So even when the lineup was spread out, of course, it was the much expected starting 11 on the part of Liverpool, just as much as it was for the side of Bournemouth. Alisson, James, Jamie Frimpong, Konate, Virgil van Dijk, Kakez, Dominic Szoboszlai, McAllister, Florian Wirtz, Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo, and Ekitike. And now, under normal circumstances, if you had Ryan Gravenberch fit, you'd maybe sacrifice McAllister to have Gravenberch start alongside Dominic Szoboszlai so that he can cover Jeremy Frimpong every time he goes into the overlap to support Mo Salah. And then what we also saw, again, is a continuation of Mo Salah's application of himself the way he did apply himself last season. Not so much being on the press of the ball, but waiting within the right spaces to receive that ball and take on, defenders and score that goal. And in fact, the fourth goal that he scored is a manifestation of that. Even in the first half, I think particularly you did see many of those moments, the ball being driven to him, just waiting, right on side to drive that ball forward. So yeah, that's how they will continue to apply for themselves. In terms of AFC Bournemouth, despite the defeat, I thought they competed really, really well. The defensive mistakes that they did commit are those that you would expect of a defensive partnership that have not played, that have literally not played a game with each other, because Bafode Diakite just signed a couple of days ago. Marco Senesi spent last season, majority of last season out through injury. Adam Smith, Adrian Trafford is a summer recruit from Stade Rennes in France, coming in as a replacement for Milos Kakez. Then he did play with a single pivot in Tyler Adams. David Brooks, I thought really had a good day by measure, not by measure of the result, but by measure of Bournemouth's overall performance. Marcus Tavernier, Alex Scott, Antoine Semenyo. I think Antoine Semenyo was really brilliant. If it had not been for Liverpool's eventual victory, I think Antoine Semenyo would have been my man of the match. And then Evan Nilsson also, I didn't have the best of days in office. If I had to choose a man of the match for this particular game, unfortunately, I think I'll go with Federico Chiesa, because coming on that late in the game and then somehow you manage to inspire your team to victory is always a beautiful thing. It's always a beautiful thing, because it's not something that does come very often. You'd have to go back, I think, until the Carabao Cup final to remember a Federico Chiesa goal in the Liverpool jersey. So he did come on in the 82nd minute, replacing Florian Wirtz, and just 4 minutes later, or barely 4 minutes later, he was putting that ball into the back of the net to get, all 3 points for Liverpool. Look at mine, okay? Okay, Pedri, Mr. Tribe, I think your FPL team isn't good enough, okay? Look at mine. I'll have a look at it, but I mean, I have a strong belief in the kinds of players that I did choose. But before you judge it, I think let's wait for the entire match they want to be played until Monday Night Football, when I think Everton take on Leeds, and then we'll sort of formulate our judgment on what needs to change in what team. On that will be my submission about my fantasy Premier League team, because I think Mo Salah, I don't actually even remember. I think Mo Salah was part of that team, unless I did remove him to replace him with somebody else. Again, I do not remember so well. I need to have a look at my team. Yeah, I took him out to reserve funds. So most of my players have yet to play. Actually, they haven't yet played. Pickford, Vardiol, Saliba, Milenkovic, Kukorea, Zubimendi, Caicedo, Bruno Fernandes, Saka, Isak. Okay. Maybe I need to withdraw Isak. Maybe I need to change Munez because this one could leave Fulham. I think, is it Roma or Atalanta? Atalanta. I think really interested in his services. The picks are bad. I do not think they're bad. I want to disagree on that. I want to totally disagree. I mean, we've yet to see them in action. I need to. Maybe the thing I need to do is, the thing of triple captaining people. I need to swap out Mo Salah Sorry, I need to swap out Isaac. Yes, I need to swap out Isaac and accommodate Morgan Gibbs White in that team, in the starting 11. I do not know what's his name. Oh, I'm struggling to read your name. Beino Wenje says, tap me, my boss. Beino Wenje, where are you joining us from, my friend? Good to have you on the broadcast. Kindly like the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel as well. So, Pedri, please indulge me or bear with me on this one. Let's wait for the entire match day one to conclude, and then we'll have to revisit the team. Josko Guardiola got injured, and you have him so unlucky. I mean, those things happen. Often, sometimes, I'm sure it has happened to you, where maybe you change your captain, and the person you changed, then they score the next weekend, and then the person you gave, the armband goes on to have a very, very bad day in office. So you have to leave those things to chance, because they do happen. But in any case, you have to bear with it. You have to bear with it. But I don't know. Maybe if you say Vardiol is out injured, maybe I could swap him with Munoz to see. And I don't know. I don't know if it will even work out. Oh, I've even been locked out of my own fantasy league. Okay, I think I've read the comment. There's no new comment. So, guys, what did you make of the game? What did you guys make of the game? I've given you my thoughts. I thought it was, the game in itself was everything you would expect in the first game of the season. You spelled Chiesa's name wrongly. Oh, apologies. I was rushing to update. I was rushing to update our headline. Remember, I initially had the first headline was when the game was 2-2 at the time. Yep. But thanks for seeing that. Thanks for that observation. Much appreciated. Really. Guys, give me your thoughts. And I'll be reading every comment. We shall be responding to it all in regards to that Liverpool game. It's been an emotional conclusion to the game. Of course, Mo Salah did score, and then somebody in the stands was showing that jersey of Diego Jota, which broke Mo Salah into tears. I mean, Liverpool are going to have to go through these emotions throughout the entire course of the season, especially whenever they play a game at home. Portuguese players, it's going to be the same thing. When you look at players like João Neves, when you look at players like Pedro Neto, he did play with him at Wolverhampton Wanderers. So, all the entire Portuguese national team, but more importantly, the players that he led his daily life with. So, I mean, they're going to have to go through those emotions, I think, for the entirety of the season, because I do not think there's any expiration to believe in that case. I think Vitz disappointed so much. I do not want to say he disappointed. I just said he didn't have a very good game. He was average, really. He didn't have the kind of impact on the game that we had hoped he would have. But again, it's the first game of the Premier League. It's a test for him, as it was a test for Hugo Ekitike, as it was a test for Jeremy Frimpong. Not big of a test for Milos Kakes, because he's been in the Premier League before. He did awful 69% successful passes. Again, I mean, it's Anfield. It's a big day. It's a big night. It's your first Premier League game. So I did not think that it was ever going to be a 10 out of 10 performance for all the debutants. But I mean, Hugo Ekitike was a standout player. Because of, again, if the game had finished in a draw, I would have given my man of the match accolade to Anton Semenyo. But because they lost, I've given my man of the match accolade to Federico Chiesa. Why? Not because he had the best of games, but he came on and impacted the game in the manner in which he was expected to impact it. Come on, it's 2-2, win the club the game, because at the end of the day, besides Hugo Ekitike and the way he applied himself, I did not think Liverpool had that a standout performer on the night. Really, Alson Ramsey-Becker, no. Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate, not really. Jeremy Frimpong, no. Milos Kakes, you remember that bad tackle? I think was it against Brooks in the first half? So really, like that. Das Quays says Chelsea win the title. I'm not impressed if you play like this against Bournemouth and win like this. In the end, with luck, shut your mouth. We beat this. We beat these donkeys. Remember my words. 4th October. SB. Mr. Tribe. Yes, Pedri. Hugo Ekitike was class. Yes, that we agree. But in regards to Das Quay's comment regarding hi testers of life, how is it? I'm good, my brother. Hope you're good as well. Chelsea win the title. I mean, that's your view. I do respect it incredibly. My view is that Chelsea will finish third on the Premier League table. You said you're not impressed. Yeah, like I think we can all agree that Liverpool didn't look as impressive as many of us would have hoped they would be. But like I said, it's the first game of the season. You know, it's the first game of the season. Let's wait for Chelsea on Sunday against Crystal Palace, and we see are they going to be overwhelming against Crystal Palace, or will it be another 50-50 kind of game? You know, because even if Liverpool have won, I do not think that the result in itself 4-2 does paint the entire picture of the game. For example, if you wake up and somebody tells you Liverpool won 4-2, you may say, oh, Liverpool were all over Bournemouth, but it didn't really feel like it was the case. So, I mean, but again, to be a champion, sometimes you have to win that day. You have to scrap out a result, and basically they did just that. You know, they scrapped out a result, and it's 3 points on board. There's a lot of homework for them to go back and do in terms of reviewing their performance and also look to see what they can correct and move on. You know, at the end of the day, it's 3 points on board. We may debate all day about their performance on the pitch that on another day could have cost them points, but at the end of the day, they walked away with all 3 points, and that is what will count. Right now, it's Liverpool on the top with 3 points, 4 goals scored, 2 goals conceded. Defensively, they have homework to do. But overall, they did miss also Ryan Gravenberch. That midfield, I thought Ibrahim Konate and Virgil van Dijk have some bit of homework to do. They are not playing for the first time together, so there should be no excuses for them, really. I mean, Alson Ramsey-Becker, arguably one of the best goalkeepers there is in the world, did not show that today. Really, Florian Wirtz, the record signing, has a lot of homework to do. Antoine Semenyo did fantastic. Yes, he was fantastic. Like I said, if that game had ended in a 2-all draw, Antoine Semenyo was definitely going to be my man of the match. I thought David Brooks was equally fine in that, Bournemouth side. I thought he did really okay. So Van Nilsson had a very underwhelming performance, in my opinion. You said, oh, October 4th, SB, meaning Stamford Bridge. Okay, point noted. That's great. But I hope we've responded sufficiently to your comments. What a game, what a Liverpool game. Test of life. I will call you Toff TTOF, who's your man of the match. Okay. Oh, you'll call him TTOF. Okay, that's one way to sum it up. Usually I go for tester and I leave it at that. That's fine. For me, it's Semenyo. Yes, again, Pedri, I'm not going to disagree with you. You'd give it to him, but because eventually Bournemouth did not win, that's why I take it away from him. And look who I've given it to is a person who barely had 10 minutes on that pitch. Okay, maybe he came in around the 82nd minute plus the 6 minutes of added time, about 10 minutes already. And beyond scoring the goal, there's nothing more really much that he did. Virgil van Donkey was so bad. It's very unfortunate that you refer to him as a donkey, but it's your opinion. Definitely did damage to the Liverpool defense. Yeah, he did damage the Liverpool defense. Pride of Ghana, Thomas Partey, haha. Okay. Then Testa Viju. Okay, you're all laughing at that. Alson Baker stood frozen in the second goal. I mean, he did, yeah, he stood frozen because, by the way, I did not think that Alson Ramses Baker did anticipate Anton Semenyo scoring that the ball by himself. Because when you look back to that very goal and you try to review it, what you will find is that I think Anton Semenyo had two overlapping attackers from his side, in two Bournemouth players who created for him the perfect distraction. And you remember, again, go and review the footage. You will see Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate both trying to direct one another about where they should have their attention onto. And because you had those two Bournemouth overlapping, attackers, you had the two centre backs distracted. Their attention was driven to those two, defenders, and that's how he goes on to score. Unfortunately, my review has been the source where I normally review those goals. Usually, you only get a couple of minutes to watch the goals before they tell you it's not available in your location. I do not know if Pedri, you also suffer with that, but oftentimes when it comes to key moments of the game, during the course of the game and immediately after the game, for most of our ex-feeds, they will put out a video maybe on Sky Sport or anywhere. You go to watch it and they are like, not available in your location. I'm like, sometimes I'd be thinking to myself, why is it even in my feed if it's not even available in my location? Do not show it to me anyway, So what's the purpose of showing it to me? How was your day, Mr. Craig? It was all right. It was a very good day. A bit slow in terms of work, but overall it was a good day. It was a good day. I hope you guys also had a brilliant day as well. So, anyways, guys, action does continue tomorrow as is expected. I mean, football is back. Are you guys excited? Are you eager for the new season? Tomorrow, early kickoff, Aston Villa up against Newcastle. Let me use something different. What do you guys think about that game? I think it does promise to be a very, very beautiful game to watch. Usually, the home side tends to win that fixture. The home side tends to win that fixture. So Newcastle are going to be up against Aston Villa. Then Brighton will be up against Fulham at 5 p.m. Then Sunderland up against West Ham at 5 p.m. Tottenham against Burnley at 5 p.m. Wolverhampton Wanderers against Manchester City at 7:30 p.m. In the red kickoff. As we speak, Villarreal are leading Rio Oviedo by 2-0. Then Barcelona will be up against Real Mallorca at 8:30 p.m. Deportivo Alves, that's in the Spanish La Liga, in action tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. as well as Valencia up against Real Sociedad. So yeah, those are some of the fixtures that you should be looking out for in the course of the weekend as you prepare yourselves to enjoy more football. Okay. Maybe unless Pedri, I don't know if you had the chance to follow that game between Villarreal and Rio Oviedo, maybe to give us a snapshot of what happened. Pedri, I was off today, so I went out with the lady and won her some teddy bears from those claw machines. She was very happy. Okay. That's good for you, mate. That's very good for you. Testa says no. Pedro says, so how was your day, Mr. Tribe? It was okay. It was okay. Mr. Tribe, I've been good. I've been good. I married a Ugandan girl yesterday. Pedro, how many wives do you have? How many wives do you have? Yes, Barcelona plays tomorrow. Yes, Pedri, I was asking whether you had the chance to catch that game between Villarreal and Rio Oviedo to give us a snapshot of how the action was overall. In case you managed to catch a glimpse of it, like I've told you, my attention was with Liverpool. Not me. I'm speaking on your behalf. You're speaking on my behalf. I do not have a ring on me. In any case, this weekend I will be enjoying some celebrity weddings across, Uganda. Two musicians were getting married today. Then a former Miss Uganda and a lucky gentleman were also getting married. So that's a bit of a social frenzy that we are enjoying throughout the course of the day today. But thank you so much for those lightful moments. Okay. Then Nottingham Forest want to have gone back to Manchester City with the idea of signing Nico O'Reilly. They want to sign Nico O'Reilly after landing the services of James McAtee from the same side. Then what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. Oh, Jesus Christ! How bad is that? How bad is that I'm forgetting his name? Very, very terrible. There's a young player. There's a 19-year-old at Manchester City who is a target for Borussia Dortmund. Man City want to send him out on loan, but Borussia Dortmund are asking for his services on loan with an option to buy. If I do remember that name, I should be getting you the name. But yeah, no, I'm not talking about James McAtee because that deal to Nottingham Forest is as good as done between Manchester City and Nottingham Forest. But Nottingham Forest have gone back with the idea of trying to sign Rico Reus from the same side. So we are waiting to see if negotiations will continue between the two sides. Marseille lost against a team with 10 men. Okay, that's very unfortunate for Marseille. Let me see if I can find that player. Then Giovanni is officially a Liverpool. Yes, Claudio Echeverri. Yes, Claudio Echeverri. That's the name I was looking for. Borussia Dortmund want him on an initial season-long loan with an option to buy. I do not know if Manchester City will be keen on that, but there's a lot of other teams that are interested in his services. Although, according to reports, Manchester City's preference would be to send him to their sister club at Girona on loan, where Victor Reis has already gone. I'm going to read it. Then also, there's something I'm forgetting that I was about to mention. Anyways, once it returns to my mind, I'll mention it. Okay, quickly, let me review your comments. You say yes, Villarreal dominated the whole game. They played so well. It was a test without Thierry Barry and Alex Baena. They managed to score, which is a good sign. They did, however, look shaky in defense. By the way, losing Alex Baena and Barry in the same transfer window is not. I always thought is not really good for them, because you lose your highest goal scorer and also lose your most creative player, arguably, in Alex Baena. But I think eventually they will cope well. And Villarreal top 3 for Testa. Well, Pedri knocked Villarreal out of fourth place and replaced them with Real Betis. As to the best of my recollection, when he updated his submission. Then also you say, but didn't concede, which is good. Okay, yeah, that's good. You're talking about James. Okay, no, we'll respond to that. Claudio Echeverri, yes. Villarreal top 3. Barcelona number 1. Atletico de Madrid number 2. You think Real Madrid number 3? Yes. Now it's number 4 that you keep on changing. First you had said Villarreal, then you came back to change and said Real Betis. Now you put them in 5th place. Okay, we'll go with those ones. But anyways, they're mere predictions. Anything can change during the course of the season. Maybe even in the final 2 weeks of the transfer window, they could do things that alter your own predictions to say maybe this puts them a notch higher, or maybe this takes them a bit off the gas. And all our predictions are always subject to change when circumstances change. So yeah, football is officially back. League football, I mean to say. So let's enjoy it. I'll be relying on many of you or some of you to be giving me your thoughts on some of the games that you may have enjoyed. We'll be, trying to dissect as many games as we can as during the course of the season. Also, the African Nations Championships did go on. South Africa were unfortunately unable to win their game. Their game ended, I think, in a goalless draw against against Niger. Yes, while Guinea and Algeria also shared the spoils in a 1-1 draw. So those were the results from today in Group C. So that, by the way, those results imply that Uganda continue to lead Group C with 6 points, and then those two teams, Algeria and South Africa, follow with 5 points apiece. South Africa play Uganda in the final game of the group, while Algeria are going to be up against, they will be up against, I think, Guinea. No, up against Niger. Yes, up against Niger. And then I think there should be another game after that. Anyways, so Uganda must win. Uganda must win to ensure that they do advance to the next round. Okay, who is Barcelona playing tomorrow? They're playing Mallorca. Thanks for asking, for responding to that. Nova Bro, do you think Mr. Tribe is handsome? Why are we discussing my appearances? Pedri, I can't decide. 9:30 p.m. Spanish time. 9:30 p.m. Spanish time. What time would that be for Uganda? I think it's going to be about 8:30 p.m. Right? Yes, 8:30 p.m. So Spain is 1 hour ahead of us. Then you say that's a straight win for Barcelona. Hopefully, in football, nothing is guaranteed. In football, nothing is guaranteed. I don't know if any of you have ever taken bets. Has any of you ever taken bets? When you see those odds and you find, let's say, Real Madrid are playing Rayo Vallecano or Rayo Mallorca, and you're thinking this is a sure win for Real Madrid. The odd in it is about 1.2 or 1.15, and then you bet on Real Madrid, and then eventually they lose. So football is never a sure thing. But yeah, if we were to make predictions, I think we would all tip Barcelona to gun and win that game. I'm sure they would love to kick off their season with a win, with a show of intent that they are really, really eager to defend their crown. I bet today Marseille is the only team that took me out. Okay, that's the nature of betting. Betting is bad. Do not do it. You lose your whole life. Please do not. Personally, I do not bet. I do not bet, but I oftentimes, people come to me asking for betting tips in terms of, predictions, in the form of predictions. And of course, you give your opinion, which is, a prediction as it is. Anything can happen. I'm sure while my prediction was a 3-1 victory for Liverpool, nothing had prepared me for a 2-2 draw by the 85th minute of the game. So nothing would have prepared me for that kind of moment. So that's the nature of football. Again, Pedri, I do not think betting is that bad for as long as you can do it responsibly. If you do not get addicted to it, you can manage it. I know a couple of people that have done it for many, many years. They are okay with it. They are good with it. They are not addicted to it. Is it Dania or Dunia? Oh, apologies, my people. There's an internet glitch which I had to battle. But yeah, let's wrap up this one. Pedro says, I know someone who bet Inter Milan to win with like 1,500 euros, and he lost it all. Oh, that was very unfortunate for him that they lost all that. But it's the nature of betting. It's the nature of betting. That's how, unfortunately, things tend to turn out sometimes. It's the nature of betting. But guys, apologies for the internet glitch. Internet, gave up on me, and I had to improvise a means of getting on back here before we can knock this broadcast up. Too much lag. Now I can't even see Mr. Tribe anymore. Yes. Sorry, guys. Can you support this group, guys? I have some groups for musicians. Thanks, Mestro. Okay. Oh, Looks like I missed a whole couple of comments. Okay. Oh, yeah, missed a whole couple of comments. Kickboxing, does Manchester United need new defenders? I certainly don't think so. Yes, okay, the defenders they have may not be the very best, but you have Lenny, you have Nusa Mazori, Matas Delit, Harry Maguire, Aiden Heaven, Luke Shaw. Why would Manchester United need new defenders, really? I think in any case, they need a central midfielder, maybe a top goalkeeper if they can move on Andre Onana. Those should be the priorities as opposed to bringing on a defender. Thanks for asking kickboxing. If you think Mr. Tribe is handsome, put yellow hats in the comments. Anyway, what agenda are you trying to drive here? Dunya said hi. Too much lag. Now I can't even see Mr. Tribe. Apologies on that, guys. It was due to an internet glitch. In fact, my Wi-Fi is still off. I'm having to rely on a secondary device to give me some internet to see out this broadcast, so that I can give you guys a proper goodbye. I need to contact my ISP tomorrow, and we'll see what to do. We'll see what to do, because it's not the first time this has happened in this week. Also, okay, there is a worm running around. There is a worm running around your eye, Mr. Tribe. Oh wait, no, it's the buffering symbol. Yes, it's a buffering symbol. Robert K, stream lag. Apologies, guys. Apologies on that. It was due to bad internet. My Wi-Fi just went off, just like that. Just like that. It gave me that mark of an apostrophe. You know when your Wi-Fi gets you that mark of an apostrophe. Sorry, an exclamation mark, which means it's gone off. So basically, that's what happened. So my good name is Doka. Oh, my good name is Doka Pablo from Congo, but I live in Uganda, Naki Valley refugee camp. Okay. I'm also from Uganda. Doka, hi Doka, good to have you on the broadcast. Uganda is a host nation for a very large refugee community from all walks of life, especially from people from South Sudan, people from Sudan or the Sudan of Khartoum, people from DRC Congo, people originally from Rwanda. It has people from Eritrea, people from Somalia, people from Ethiopia, people from Djibouti, and so many other people, who have left their respective countries for whatever reasons to come and find home in Uganda. So that's, but it's good to have you, Doka, on the channel. It's good to have you, Doka, on the channel. Okay, let me see. Who is more handsome, Frankie de Jong or Mr. Trey? Why are you comparing me to Frankie de Jong? Mr. Trey, there's a spider behind you. Take care. It's okay. Manchester United were struggling because of defense last season. Again, okay. Are the women there beautiful? Uganda has very beautiful women, very, very beautiful women. And I think on about 2 occasions, we've come third in in the Miss World contest. So that should, it's not just beauty; it's beauty with brains. So very, very beautiful women. Now about your comment regarding Manchester United struggling with defense. Now, part of the reasons as why Manchester United struggled with their defense is, one, the kind of system with which they were playing. It's a system that they were learning, a back three, a double pivot with the wing backs, and then the 2 number 10s plus a striker, that kind of thing. The 3-4-2-1 kind of system. They are trying to learn that. They're trying to acclimatize to that. But also, more importantly, the midfield, because the only way you get to the defense is when the midfield, and in modern day football, remember, when you lose the ball, for example, in an advanced position, when you lose the ball, it's your attackers that lead the counter press. And once they fail and the opposing team or your opponents beat that press, the next phase of defending is within the midfield. And once the midfield fails, then they go to your defense. And once the defense fails, it's the goalkeeper to come to your rescue. Now, you remember before at the start of the 2023-2024 season when David De Gea left, Manchester United for a good number of years, especially between 2013 and around 2022, around there about. For so many years, David De Gea was Manchester United's best player. Why? Because the midfield and the defense were being easily penetrated, so they could reach easily on David De Gea, and he had so many shots to save. So even in this particular case, my quarrels with Manchester United are more over the midfield than they are with defense, because pound for pound, those defenders, they're not bad defenders really, but if they can find the right midfield composition that can help protect that backline, then the backline will end up looking, really, really good at the end of it all. So if Uganda has beautiful women, why are you single? The choice of being single has nothing to do with the absence or presence of beautiful women. It's like saying, if there's food, why are you fasting? I mean, you fast to nourish your faith if you're a religious person, not because there's lack of food. So that's the best way I can explain it, Pedri. Tester says Man United have both attacking players, but no defensive players. Arsenal are going to take advantage of that this Sunday. Now, regarding again, when you look at Manchester United last season, they conceded 54 goals and scored 44. But I think they would have been much okay. You're better off scoring 70 goals and conceding the 54. Now, the place where they look to address first is scoring goals. Now, Bruno Fernandes can create the chances, does score the goals, but they needed to add more goals. You look at their two strikers, Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee. In the Premier League alone, they scored 7 goals, 4 and 3 goals respectively. So they need to add goals, and that's why they brought in Matas Cunha, they brought in Van Mbomo, they brought in Benjamin Sesko, who I think if things click for them, they're going to be a very lethal attacking force, front three in the Premier League. So now, once they fix issues within midfield, then that means the amount of times that they reach their defense to exploit, opponents reach their defense to exploit that backline will be very limited, because all the work begins up front, like I've explained. Your front players lead the counter press, and then they are helped by the midfield before we get to the defense. So I'm not saying they have the most of elite defenders in the Premier League. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying the defenders they have are good enough. Are good enough at this stage of their project. At this stage of their project. Of course, they will continue to iterate. That's why they managed to sign Heidenheim from Arsenal in January this year. That's why they brought in Lenny Yoro last summer. They brought in Matas Delic. They brought in Nusa Mazoroi. Again, they were looking to better that defense. Luke Shaw could be one of those players that gets moved on if a right offer comes in for him. Very interesting. Okay. Very interesting question. How is Harry Maguire still playing for Manchester United? It's shocking. Nobody takes him seriously. Okay. Now, Harry Maguire has had a fair share of his bad spells at Manchester United, and that is without a doubt. And oftentimes, every time they summoned the England national team, especially when they were still under the charges of Gareth Southgate, I was always one of those pained by the fact that Harry Maguire was being summoned, especially bearing in mind that I thought he was not playing very good football at that time. But if last season is anything to go by, he did turn out to be one of Manchester United's best players or most reliable players. Again, if he plays in a very good system, in a team that is clicking, you're going to see how good Harry Maguire is. You remember how he helped score that goal against Lyon in the return leg of the quarterfinals of the UEFA Europa League, and that kind of thing. So, when the entire team is bad, it's really, really hard to notice how good some players are. And then when the entire team is good, it's also very difficult to notice how how bad some players can be. Let me give you an example. Pedri, can we all agree that Victor Valdez was never one of the best goalkeepers that there was in the world? Do we agree on that? Because, okay, it's my opinion that he was never one of the best goalkeepers. But because he played in a very, very good Barcelona system, he ended up looking good, brilliant, you know. Once in a while, when he was called to action, he came good, you know. But you wouldn't compare him to Iker Casillas, to Gigi Buffon, to Manuel Neuer, and that kind of realm of goalkeepers, the Peter Cech or Edwin van der Sar of the time, you know. So there's that bit to it, you know. So he wasn't the best ever of the goalkeepers, but he really looked good in that Barcelona team because he was playing in a good system, in a very good team. So look at it that way with Manchester United. They do have players that if put in a very good system, they're going to turn out to be very brilliant. I think Amadou Diallo is an exciting player. Mason Mount is not a bad player, but look, of course, he's struggled with injuries, but he's not looked that impressive. Okay, if you are asked today, let's say, let me put this question to you, regardless of what team you support. If somebody told you to go to Manchester United and pick out one player that you would sign to your team, which player would it be? One or two players. Choose one or two players, you know, and that will tell you everything you need to know about Manchester United. So it's not like every player in there is bad. It's the system that has not worked, that has not suited them well. You remember when they had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he had just come in? That was December 2018, I think. When he had just come in, they went on an 18-game unbeaten run, actually 19, probably, you know, and then they had a very good first season. They finished second, I think, in the Premier League for, I think, 2019, 2020. Was that the season? No, I don't think that was the season. I think it was around 2021, thereabout, you know. So, again, if the system fits the players, they're going to look good. If the system is bad, they're all going to look bad, regardless. Okay. Yes, I'm reading the comments, guys. Kindly be patient with me on that one. So, Isaac the Snaps, Onana, what is my name? Onana, what's my name? Now, again, Andre Onana, the goalkeeper, in 2023, when Manchester City beat Inter Milan in the finals of the UEFA Champions League, Andre Onana was the best goalkeeper in the world at the time. Now, suddenly, 2 years into Manchester United, and everybody thinks he's the worst goalkeeper they've ever seen. Why is that the case? Did he suddenly go bad overnight? I do not want to think so. I do not want to think so, really. And it's good that you bring out that example. Mr. Tribe, can we have a tour of your mansion? I do not have a mansion, Mr. Pedri, but I won't be giving a tour of my living quarters. A very, very small space, by the way, just a living room and a bedroom. It's a simple space. I'm renting, so I do not have a mansion. But yeah, Rasmus Højlund is going to AC Milan too. That is very good. He will do much better in Italy. Okay, when you look at a player like Rasmus Højlund, he's still a young player. He's still well within his development stage. But also, you ought to remember that when you're looking at Rasmus Højlund, remember in his debut campaign, he scored 10 Premier League goals. He had about, I think, 5 in the UEFA Champions League. He looked really, really exciting. But then last season, everything went to shit for him. He just didn't look good enough. He struggled. 4 goals in the Premier League, I think about 6 in the UEFA Europa League, and about 15 appearances, you know. So overall, it didn't look pretty for him. Then you say, but yeah, a move for him back to Italy, I think will be very good. AC Milan's proposal is an initial loan move for which they pay about 6 million euros in loan fees, plus an obligation to buy for about 45 million euros, depending on what they will be able to agree with Manchester United. But they're not the only team that are interested in his services. So let's just wait and see where the wind will blow the strongest. Because he's in a worse team. Tester says Harry Maguire was approached by a Saudi team before the last season ended, and Manchester United turned it down. True. Also, there was interest, I think, from West Ham United, and Harry Maguire, turned down the move to West Ham United. Can you play better than Harry Maguire? Me? No, obviously, me, I can't. You're asking kickboxing. That's the answer. Yes, Victor Valdez wasn't the best. True, good that we agree on that. He was good though. Yes, he was good, but as I've said before, sometimes good is not good enough. Pepe Reina, Jens Lehmann, and David Seaman. I think you are adding to that list of good goalkeepers that were really, really brilliant in that spell. Jens Lehmann. Okay, yeah, I understood that. Jens Lehmann. Okay. Those were the best goalkeepers. Yeah. Okay. Peter Schmeichel. Peter Schmeichel was way far back, guys. Was longer than that. In fact, when I started watching football, the first Manchester United goalkeeper that I watched was Fabian Barthez, the French goalkeeper. So I'm not too old to have seen Peter Schmeichel, on live TV, play football. But anyways, our access to that kind of thing was really, really limited. Anyways, guys, it's 7 minutes to 1 a.m. East African time. And it's been 1 hour and 6 minutes into the broadcast. Remember, we came in late, like I told you guys. Every time we do have a match on a Monday night, a Friday night, we may come a bit late to allow you guys enjoy at least majority of that second half, and then we come towards the tail part of the second half. So thank you so much for indulging me in this late night. Thank you so much, Pedri. Thank you so much, Tester of Life. Thank you so much, Kickboxing. Always a pleasure to engage with you in these fruitful conversations. Who else? Okay. Thank you so much, Doka. I hope I'm pronouncing your name well. Thank you so much. Who else? Yes, I'm trying to give everybody their shout outs. Das Queries, thank you so much for being part of today's podcast. And every single one of you that did like the podcast, every one of you that joined, that submitted in a comment. Mr. Tribe, should I subscribe? My impression was that you have already subscribed. But yeah, if you haven't, please go ahead and subscribe. But my expectation is that you've already joined the community because you're one of our regulars here. Even when I've seen it, even when you have limited time and you have something to run to, you always come here and say hello and run off. So thank you so much, every single one of you. Have a blessed night, guys. Let's link up again tomorrow morning and we get to discuss about the fixtures that will be coming your way in the course of the weekend. Thank you so much, Testa. You say I'm off now. Have a great evening, Tribe, and everyone else watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Pedri says I'm joking. I already subscribed. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, guys. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Bye-bye for now.